The idea we need to balance the collection of personal data to address a public health crisis like the one created by the coronavirus with people's privacy is often a false choice. There are usually better options or ways to mitigate the risk. I'll talk about two examples. First is the use of thermal imaging cameras plus facial recognition technology at workplaces to identify individuals with an elevated temperature. So not only does this present privacy issues, but there's actually other problems with this implementation. The thermal imaging cameras are often unreliable with their temperature readings, and it's often people with no fever who are the ones spreading the virus. Plus, there are just better, less privacy invasive options that are more effective, especially when used in combination. So instead of spending that money on the thermal imaging cameras and facial recognition technology, you could put that money towards frequent testing and masks, social distancing, hand washing, proper ventilation, and educating employees on all the potential systems of the coronavirus. This actually puts you in a much better position to prevent your employees from getting sick and also identify early on any individuals that do get sick. The second example is the use of smartphones for contact tracing. You've probably heard a lot about this. When individuals get sick with the coronavirus, there's often a need to identify the people they come in contact with, and that's where contact tracing comes in. To do this, you could collect a bunch of personal information in a centralized location. This would present a bunch of privacy and civil risk, though. And you actually don't need to do a centralized database with personal information. You actually don't even need to collect personal information, including location data. In the case of using smartphones for contact tracing, you can use unique but random identifiers that can be sent out via Bluetooth at set intervals, for example, every 5 minutes. Each phone would not only remember the unique identifiers it sends out, but also the ones it receives for a certain time period, let's say 14 days. So if you get sick, you upload those random identifiers to a centralized database. Again, no personal information. Then other phones can check the database periodically to see if they have any identifiers that match what's in there. So without collecting any personal information, you can find out if you came in contact with someone with coronavirus, roughly how long that contact was, and if you need to self-quarantine.